The pitch from Acevedo.
Swung on the line, down the left field line for a base hit.
Fly ball, gap, right center field. And
Double him up at second.
Luke is going back to the 1-8 track. Get out the right, run and mustard grandma. It is grand salami time.
will send Seattle to the American League Championship Series for the first time in 24 years.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Light the W podcast. This is episode 168 of the show, and the Seattle Mariners are scuffling, struggling, and only a game above 500. The Mariners went 4-6 on their recent road trip against three teams that are all struggling. They now come home, and they face the Baltimore Orioles 4-3 after an off day Monday. That'll conclude their 10-day straight of games. The Mariners went to a 6-man rotation entering this 10-game stretch. And on this 10-game stretch, the starting rotation struggled. The pitching staff struggled. Over this road trip, the Mariners had one game where they gave up 2 or less runs. They had 2 games where they gave up 3 or less runs. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games that they gave up 7 runs or more. Add in 2 games where they gave up 5, and the Mariners gave up 5 runs or more in 8 of 10 games on this road trip. People can talk about this Mariners offense and this lineup as much as they want, and the Mariners are dealing with injuries right now, and they have struggled to score runs lately as well. The Mariners scored just 4 runs the past 2 days. But overall, the Mariners' offense is playing well enough that they should win more than 4 of 10 games. The issue is not the offense. The issue at this point right now is not the bullpen, and that's an issue in of itself at times. The issue is the starting rotation. It is the unit that is the supposed strength of this team. We have talked about how when you build a baseball team, you want to build it around and have your foundation around strong starting pitching, because that is the most consistent thing that allows you to win. What the Mariners have had in the past is consistent, good, strong starting pitching. What the Mariners have in 2026 is not that. The overall numbers aren't shocking, they aren't painful, nothing like that. But a 4.07 ERA from George Kirby, Brian Wu with a 4.28, Luis Castillo with a 5, Logan Gilbert with a 3.62. Those numbers are not good enough. Ultimately, none of it has been good enough. Let's go look at these numbers overall for the Mariners from their starting pitching. And let's look at FIP, ERA, all these different things. In terms of ERA, Brian Wu is a 4.28 ERA. George Kirby a 4.07, Emerson Hancock a 2.74, and Logan Gilbert with a 3.62. Brian Wu and George Kirby both have xERAs and FIPs within the 3s. Wu with an xERA of 3.28 and a FIP of 3.26. The numbers around Brian Wu back up that he could be, should be, and will be really good over the course of the entire season. However, you know, I know, we all know, that hasn't been the case. He's struggled. My favorite number and stat for starting pitchers is quality starts. Brian Wu has quality starts in 8 of his 14 starts so far. That is not a good enough number for what we want to expect and see from this team. In contrast to last year, Brian Wu had 21 quality starts in 30 starts. That's just 9 starts that weren't quality starts. Wu has already racked up 6 this year in just about half the number of starts, not even. He's on pace for 33%-ish more games without, or 33% less games with quality starts than last year. And look, Brian Wu was elite last year, but he was elite the year prior to that. Why has he all of a sudden fallen back? Why is he all of a sudden really struggling? The walk numbers aren't alarming. The strikeout numbers are down from last year, but higher than 2024. Home run numbers are down, but the batting average on balls in play is up. The runners he's leaving on base are down. The ground ball percentage is down significantly. Those are the issues. Teams are just able to get hits against him. Instead of hitting 211 and then 198 last year, they're hitting 225. It's a whip over 1 barely, but it's that BABIP, 274. Last year was 238. It was 240 the year prior. To me, I look at it and look, every pitcher is going to struggle. If you want to take the positive route, these guys are struggling in June. If this is when they're struggling, instead of when they're peaking, when they're thriving, when they're pitching their very best, what do they look like in August, September, hopefully October? If this rotation is at its very best down the stretch, who's beating this team? We saw that 8 to 10 game stretch just a couple weeks ago where the starting pitching was elite, where it was really good, where it was able to give this team a shot each and every night. Mariners won 8 games straight. This team is going to live and die by the starting pitching. They're going to live and die by it. It's pretty simple, right? Bryce Miller has been the only starter for this Mariners team through the entire year that has truly been elite. Look, Emerson Hancock has been fantastic. I don't want to discount anything he's done. He's going to start to fall back to earth, though. He's not going to be able to be this consistent through the entire season. You saw that today against the lineup in the Nationals that, look, it doesn't have huge names. It doesn't have a super deep lineup, but they score a lot of runs. And they have C.J. Abrams and James Wood at the top of this lineup that have absolutely raked. Thanks to the Juan Soto trade. Look, you can have your ups, you can have your downs, but for a team that expects to be really freaking good, expects to be at the top of the American League, and most definitely at the top of the American League West, you need these peaks and valleys to be less far apart. If your peak is as good as this rotation can be, awesome. I love that. That's perfect. That's exactly what this team needs. Those peaks are fantastic. But when your valleys are as different and as rough and tough and frustrating as we've seen them to be so far this year, that's an issue because that's not giving your team a shot to win. Emerson Hancock didn't give his team a shot to win today. They're not giving each other shots to win. That's the issue. Look, this is going to be a shorter episode, admittedly, than normal. Been quite busy this weekend myself, thanks to the nice weather. And maybe this team just needs to get back home, get a couple guys back in the, clubhouse. Maybe it's, we're missing Cal Raleigh. We need Cal Raleigh back in this lineup. It's been awesome down in Tacoma. Maybe it's we need our leader JP on the field. Whatever it may be, this pitching staff needs to figure it out because they haven't been close to good enough. And look, the offense wasn't good enough today. They weren't good enough yesterday. But your offense is going to have games where they score 1, 2, 3 runs. And those are going to be tough to win. But you want to be able to win some of those games, and that's just not even been an option for this Mariners team this year. It's been out of the question. I'll talk about quality starts with some of the other starters, with Brian Wood specifically. Looking at Emerson Hancock, this is another guy that struggled to get quality starts. 8 quality starts in 13. Let's just look through this entire rotation. Look at George Kirby. Kirby, just 7 quality starts in 14. That's just 50% of the time. Gilbert, 5 quality starts in 14 starts. Castillo, 1 quality start this season. Bryce Miller has 2 through 5 so far. So look, I'm picking a very specific stat that is you throw 6 innings and 6 or more innings and give up 3 or less runs. To me, that's giving your team a shot to win. The Mariners don't have the bullpen depth to be able to cover for these guys not throwing quality starts. Now, they've had a lot of outings where it's 5 2/3 and they get pulled for an out. But you got to finish a way to finish 6 innings. You got to figure out a way to pitch 7 innings once in a while. You got to figure out a way to give your team a shot to win. And they haven't done that. Castillo's 2-6 on the season. Kirby's 5-6. Woo's 5-5. Gilbert's 4-4. I don't love wins and losses. I don't love that as a stat, as a number. But it can tell me this. Those guys aren't giving you a good enough shot to win. They're not. I am begging this rotation to figure it the frick out and figure out how to give this team a shot to win. Because if this rotation even gives this team a shot to win and goes and throws quality starts on a consistent basis, this team is going to soar, this team's going to fly, and we can get another one of these banners that's hanging behind me. And we can get a banner that might look different from this one, that we don't have up in the rafters at T-Mobile Park right now. That's the dream. The dream is to hoist a trophy. And to get there, you got to go through 162 grueling games before you even have your shot at the postseason. That's 162 starts that you need your guys to be on, that you need your guys to be rocking. And if it's a 6-man rotation that's not going to work for these guys, put frickin' Luis Castillo in the bullpen and use him as a long reliever. I don't care. Having 7 guys in the bullpen and 6 starters that can't frickin' throw on a consistent basis, well, is an issue. There's one guy right now in this rotation that when he goes onto that mound, I want to watch him. It used to be I could want to go to the ballpark in any one of 5 days. I would be excited about the guy on the bump for the Mariners. Now I look ahead and I'm like, I got to see Luis Castillo. Why would I even want to go to that game? That's a guaranteed loss. Oh, Logan Gilbert starting? Oh, that's probably a loss. Oh, George Kirby starting? That's not going to be fun to watch. Unless he has his perfect, best stuff on all of his pitches. Look, I have belief in this team. I have shown that throughout this entire season and in the preseason, during spring training, during the offseason. But my belief in this team rests upon them having good, consistent starting pitching. I'll tell you right now, my dreams of where this team can go are impossible if the starting rotation isn't good. And it's not something that they can just fix. It has to be the starting pitching. They can't go acquire new starting pitchers. They can't just call up Cade Anderson. What do they do with the guys they have now? They can't just call up Ryan Sloan if you think he's ready. The 6 guys that are in that rotation right now need to figure it out. If they don't, they will be the reason we look back on the 2026 Seattle Mariners team as a failure and as a disappointment. Not because of the offense, not because of the bullpen, not because of the front office, not because of the ownership even. It's because of one thing, the starting rotation. So as they get back to T-Mobile Park, this is a chance to get right. Find your best stuff. Get some confidence in you. Get a good start or two, depending on how many times you throw this week. And let's frickin' rock and roll and win some ball games. You have a huge opportunity ahead of yourselves on this homestand. You have the Orioles and the Red Sox. Both of whom are really struggling baseball teams. You can win 2 out of 3 against both those teams. Go win 4 of 6 on this homestand. Go 4-2 on it. It's simple. I'll be back with you on Wednesday morning. Till then, go M's. Thank you for listening. Peace.